Welcome, dear friend, to my channel. Before you start watching this video, I want to ask you to like and subscribe to this channel. With each new video, the stories will get more and more interesting. Enjoy watching. When I was 7 years old, our family lived in a small house on the outskirts of town. And this house, though old, was cozy, with a large garden where I could play for hours. But most importantly, we had a family of cats. 3 Siamese beauties, a father, a mother, and their daughter. Snow white, fluffy, and graceful, as only cats can be. They were not just pets. They were part of the family. Every morning they greeted me at the door, and in the evenings they nestled close, purring so warmly it seemed like their sound could dissolve all worries. But one day, they disappeared, vanished, as if into thin air. I remember running around the house, looking into every corner, going out into the garden, and calling their names, but they didn't respond. They were simply gone. Mom said they had gone to the forest. Apparently, cats sometimes do that when they want to be free. I didn't believe it. My cats weren't warmth. They loved warmth and affection, but Mom looked so convincing that I, being a child, didn't argue. Months passed. Summer turned into autumn, and then winter arrived. The cats were gone, and though I missed them, I gradually got used to their absence. But one day, during a family celebration, I accidentally overheard a conversation among the adults. Mom was telling them how she had found them. Their bodies, torn and bloodied, lay not far from the forest. "Dogs," she said with a heavy sigh. I sat at a nearby table, pretending to play with my toys, but those words burned into my memory. The images my imagination conjured were more terrifying than any dream. After that, I often had nightmares. I saw them. My beloved Siamese cats, their white fur stained with blood, their eyes looking at me with reproach. Sometimes I woke up in tears, and Mom, hearing my cries, would come running to comfort me. "It's just a dream," she'd say. But I knew it was more than a dream. Sometimes, and then they started to come back. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. It happened in the spring when the snow began to melt and the days grew longer. I was playing with a ball in the garden when I noticed movement in the shadows of the trees. Turning around, I saw them, all 3 of them. They stood nearby, barely moving, but I recognized them instantly. Snow white as before, but something was wrong. Their eyes, they were glassy white without pupils. And their bodies bore scratches, deep ones, as if left by claws or teeth. I froze. My heart pounded so hard I felt like it would leap out of my chest. They didn't come closer. They just stood there, staring at me with their dead eyes. And then the daughter, the little kitten I had loved the most, made a sound. It wasn't a normal meow, it was a moan, low and drawn out as if from the depths of something ancient and dark. I ran. These visions repeated themselves. Every time I went out to the garden or played near the house, they appeared. They didn't try to attack, didn't do anything but stand and watch. But their presence was unbearable. Sometimes I thought I could hear their steps even inside the house, behind closed doors. The soft scrape of claws on the floor. I told Mom about it, but she just shook her head and said I had too vivid an imagination. One night, I woke up to a rustling sound. The room was dark, but I felt I wasn't alone. In the corner near the wardrobe, 3 pairs of white eyes glimmered. They shone faintly but ominously. I wanted to scream, but my voice caught in my throat. The cats began to move slowly, almost imperceptibly, but I could see them getting closer. Their movements were unnatural, jerky, as if someone was pulling invisible strings. I squeezed my eyes shut, hoping they'd vanish. When I opened them again, they were gone. But in the morning, I found traces. Thin, precise claw marks on the floor, leading from the wardrobe to my bed. They were too real to be a product of my imagination. With each passing day, their presence grew more intrusive. They appeared not only in the garden and at home, but also at school, on the street, wherever I went. Their white eyes followed me like shadows I couldn't escape. One day, I tried to talk to them. I went out to the garden when I saw them and, with a trembling voice, asked, "What do you want?" But the only response was that same low, drawn-out moan. Neighbors began to notice that something was wrong with me. I overheard Mom talking to one of them saying I had become withdrawn and strange. "He's always looking out the window, as if waiting for someone," she said. I wasn't waiting. I was scared. The culmination came in the summer. One evening as I sat on the porch watching the sunset, they came. All three of them, but this time they came closer than ever before. They stopped just a few steps away from me. And then I heard a voice, low, whispering. It came from somewhere inside my head. "Why did you leave us?" it asked. I screamed and ran into the house. The next day, we moved out of that house. Mom said she'd been offered a new job in another city. I didn't object. But even years later, I can't forget them. Sometimes, on the quietest nights, I think I hear the soft sound of footsteps, the scrape of claws on the floor. And then I'm afraid to open my eyes because I know they might be there.